We were young, but you couldn't tell us that we didn't know love. Barely out of high school when we first looked up. To where along the line we got mixed up. Things got a little bit rough. And we just gave up.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, and happy Valentine's Day. It must be Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central here in Chicago. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're on Live with Rick's Room. I'm your host, Mr. Rick. Thanks for stopping by the room on this somewhat warm Wednesday evening, Valentine's evening, right? It's a little warm outside. We got a little warm up here in the Midwest and in Chicago. And as we all know, it's the wintertime, so that will quickly diminish and we'll be back down to the frigid cold. Exactly. But you know what? With all the snow that's melting, that's going to freeze, right? So be careful with the black ice out there. If you happen to be driving or walking, you can slip and fall and lose your teeth. But we appreciate you hanging out with us this evening. And if you are out celebrating your Valentine's Day at some restaurant this evening, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. You're an amateur. This is amateur night to be out at restaurants. And if you are out and not watching Rick's Room or tuned into Rick's Room, you're an amateur. It's all right. We'll go ahead and let you catch up on IntellectualRadio.com or iHeartRadio and iTunes as well. If this is your first time in the room, thank you so much for stopping by and welcome. We have adult conversations here about stereotypes, current events, and whatever else that might come up in the conversations. And if you have been in the room before, just be respectful. If this is your first time, just be respectful. But if you have been in the room before, you're coming back for another visit, thanks for swinging back by. You know the deal. Go ahead and grab your adult beverage. Go ahead and get comfortable in a chair or on the couch or wherever suits you. Just stay off my bed. Just stay off my bed. That's all I need you to do. Stay off my bed. But you can find us here live every Wednesday night on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartRadio and iTunes station. Shout out to the hashtag IR Hump Day crew. All of us giving you different shows on Wednesdays. Live streaming here on Facebook. If you can, go ahead and wave to Facebook. Say, hey, Facebook.
Hey, Facebook.
And if you are tuning in through YouTube or Intellectual Radio, we got you right over there. Say, what's going on?
What's going on, y'all?
Happy Wednesday. If you miss any of these shows, again, you can always catch up at iHeartRadio or iTunes. Check out all of the Intellectual Radio hosts and shows that are on there. And if you want to participate in the conversation, we definitely encourage you to do it. You got Facebook right there where we got all the live stream comments coming up. We'll be reading them on air live. We appreciate those comments too. Keep them coming so you can participate in the discussion, share your experiences and some of your opinions. Opinions, whatever. And we definitely want to hear from you too about our topic this evening. If you want to talk to us directly, give us a call. 708-223-8953 is the number to dial. And give us a holler. Talk to us directly about your experiences, your opinions again on the topic tonight, which is, dear Black people, love is love. Love is love. And it's Dear Black People because it's February, right? So we got Dear Black People all month long. But again, that doesn't include or exclude you from participating in the conversation if you're not Black. Look, we have someone who's not Black on our panel today. So it's all right. You don't have to be Black to participate in the conversation, but we want to have those conversations that are important to our community, but that we can share with any and everyone. And speaking of my panel here, I got some great friends and family who are in the building. A couple of couples that decided to share their Valentine's Day here with me in the room. I'm so grateful that you all did. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Real talk. I do. So let's go ahead and get my guests introduced to you. I'm going to start here with Tim and Trisha Norwood joining us this evening. Go ahead and say hello, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. It's okay. I'm Tim. This is Trish. We've been together for 20 years. We've been married it'll be 10 years in May.
Where are you from and what do you do?
Originally, Naperville, and right now I work with Amazon. We also do trucking.
Okay.
I'm originally from Elmhurst, and I'm in purchasing.
And in purchasing, cool. So we got some of the suburban nights here with us this evening. It's fine. It's okay. Because we have people from all over the place that are tuning in with us, and we appreciate you two for being here. And then I have my buddy, Mr. Eric Lane, is in the building with us as well. What's going on, Mr. Eric? How are you?
Good, very good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Eric Lane, born and raised in the Boston, Massachusetts area. So I'm a recent transplant about 4 years ago. My spouse, George, got a job in the Chicagoland area. And so we moved here and have been here ever since. We've been together. October will be 22 years. And October will also be 12 years married.
Wow, 22 years. And you guys have been together again how long? 20 years. So check it out. We got people who have been here. Longevity. Longevity is what we got to talk about. Love is love this evening. And George will be joining us a little bit later on. He was on a flight in travel, just landed, and is getting his vehicle together to get here to be a part of this conversation with Eric, with us as well. So George, I saw you comment and say that you wish you had adult beverage. Don't you worry, sir. We got it here for you. It is sitting here for you when you get here. Just come on and make it here safely. So listen, this show tonight is being brought to you by A Shakur Boutique, offering 20% off total purchases just by joining the mailing list. You can check out all the latest fashion options at www.shopashakurboutique.com. That's shop. SHAKUR boutique.com. I'm not spelling boutique because every time I try to type it out, I need spell check to help me out with that. So you know how to spell it, and it'll correct you if you don't. But check out A Shakur Boutique for some of the latest fashion trends that are going on and the boutique offers that she has. And listen, so it's Valentine's Day, right? You got your hookups going on, maybe your hangouts going on this evening. I don't know what you're getting into, but whether you got your boo or your bae for just that one night, or you got your partner or companion or spouse of several years. Listen, it's important. Know your status and know your numbers. In recognition of National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day, join the Southside Churches and Communities United in strengthening our community with empowering workshops on this Saturday, February 17th. From 9 to 2 at West Point Baptist Church. That's at 3566 South Cottage Grove. We got breakfast and registration from 9 to 10. And then you can attend and participate in several workshops, including HIV 101, HIV and the family dynamic. And the one that I'm really looking forward to is HIV and the Black church. Like, I'm looking forward to that one. Shout out to West Point for bringing up the conversation and keeping it at the forefront of the community and keeping the community progress. We appreciate that. But students can receive service and learning hours. Lunch will also be provided, and you can even receive free HIV and Hep C testing. So that's important, right? Again, know your status and know your numbers. Come hang out with your boy. I'll be there on site. You can get free information. It's all free information. It can help you or it can help someone else. But, bring yourself or bring someone else. Don't walk around just being ignorant, right? That's stupid. For more information or to RSVP, call West Point directly at 773-538-7590 from the hours of 9 to 4. Or you can reach out to Sherman Bryant directly, 773-431-3501. Be sure to follow Rick's Room on Facebook for details about this and some other upcoming events. Listen, West Point will also be offering free HIV screening after service on Sunday on February 18th. So a lot of opportunity out there. Again, it's important. Know your status, know your numbers, and let's continue to make strides to empower and strengthen the community, right? So come check us out. If you happen to be there, say hello. I'll be trying to do some live streaming while I'm there. Maybe we'll get you on air and do some quick shout outs there too as well. I didn't put it together. West Point put it together, but I'm passionate about it. You know what I mean? Even as we celebrate love and we celebrate all the hookups, whatever y'all are doing. I'm not gonna say celebrate hookups, but whatever you're getting into, I am passionate about it, and it's definitely conversations that need to be had, especially within the Black community, because it's still high cases, some of the highest cases in the community. So come and check it out, get your information on, and I'll see you there as well. Again, if you want to participate in the conversation, go ahead and comment down here at the on Facebook, or give us a call, 708-223-8953. So listen, let's get into this, right? Because I wanted to have this conversation with some individuals who have been in this game for some years, at least a decade or two, right? But to open up the understanding that not only love is love, but relationships have the same obstacles, right? They have the same types of things that take place as any other relationship. So let me start with this. Have you guys ever experienced like negativity, from the Black community, or from, you happen to be out and seeing like those side eyes or whatever, while you're out because of the relationship that you were in?
That was one time we went to the mall and it was a movie. There was a group there were a few people in front of us. And
outside of that one.
Every 5 or 10 minutes, they'd turn around and be like,
really?
Check that out. We're grown. What is going on?
That was a long time ago.
That's
really
the only overt time where it was like, someone really kind of that you shouldn't be together.
wow.
That was probably in our first year.
Okay. No, so I'm just curious, like how did you all deal with, that situation, that scenario? Like what? Because I have my own situation, I guess, with my partner, or just being in the same gender relationship that Eric and I'm sure we've shared some of those same obstacles. But for you guys, like what do you do when you come across, or if you come across, that type of a situation? Trish has a smile.
Yeah. Tim handles this better than me.
Because I let it go. It's no reason to add, fuel to it or make it a bigger issue than it is. They seem like, I think if they get a rise out of you, then they've turned it into a situation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't get a rise, they're not going to feed into it, it'll die down.
So this is the only one situation just like the one you can recall
that was like overt. I mean, you feel like, say a couple of people may look at you, but not to the point where you feel like, they really don't like the fact that we're together.
We don't really pay attention. I don't even notice
after a while.
If somebody looks, like some of his cousins have told us in the past, there's been people looking at us, and but I don't even notice it.
Wow.
And I don't even care, even if they were looking. It doesn't faze me.
Right. So let me ask you this: in that particular situation, just because I'm curious, like what was the race of the people that were looking at you? They were black, or was it a mixture of? They were black.
Yeah.
Okay, male and female,
they
or
were older
all
too.
female.
All female.
Which ones are
all right.
Are you talking about
the show in front of us?
He's talking about the movie theater. But when we went to his birthday at a nice restaurant, it was older gentlemen, like some older people were. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. Kenny was the one that said, we were out. You were with us. I can't remember. We were.
I drink too much, so I don't really remember this situation.
But no, I don't know that. Yeah, let's have a
cheers
drink.
Yeah. Cheers to Valentine's Day. Cheers down there as well. Make sure you got your adult beverage too. Right, everybody had to take a moment and sip to that, but right. But so there were a couple of gentlemen who were kind of giving you some looks.
That's what
I didn't notice it, but yeah, Kenny was like, you know what? You meant to deal with this guy.
Oh, how far? Was that bad?
He was pretty disrespectful.
He was upset about it.
He was upset. He pulled me to the side.
I didn't even notice.
Ken doesn't normally.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Okay. So now let me ask you this: like, were you more cognizant of it, in the beginning stages of your relationship, maybe even before you got married or when you got married?
I think it was more like you're vigilant, like you, without really paying attention to it, you're hyper vigilant as to to make sure that the person that you're with isn't catching any flack. So you're around it, perceiving or listening to what's going on, so you can either remove it from the
fresh
situation.
Too. So when it's new and it's fresh, you have your family that maybe not everybody was on board, and then you have your friends who had their own opinions, and so you're hypersensitive at the beginning.
Eric, let me ask you now: have you had a similar situation where in the Black community? Because listen, I know that there are hang-ups with the same gender relationships, and some whatever beliefs that are out there that kind of contribute to those hang-ups. What were some of the experiences that you had?
I can't think of a specific experience, but George and I's relationship really fostered. We met kind of through church, and it fostered in the church, and so that in and of itself created a different kind of environment for us to learn to love each other and get to know each other. And so with that came a lot of flack from folks in the church. However, there were a number of folks, and I have to say that we've been blessed to be involved in two church communities where we are really loved and accepted and supported. But of course, you have a couple of bad apples, and I can't think of a specific experience, but there have been times when we've gotten that side eye, and that like you guys were saying, you see someone at the next table giving you kind of the cold shoulder. But I think we kind of, like you guys, kind of try to ignore it and keep it moving. Mm-hmm. Life is too short to fill your life with all that other stuff, all the drama, all the negativity. So I think we just decide to consciously and unconsciously to just plow through and not let it affect what we're doing.
Hashtag love is love.
Love is love. Love is
However
love.
you can show it and and display it, love is love. Now, do you think that in your case, like that it could potentially be something that you all chose to not be aware of, or were you all in the beginning more hypervigilant to it as well?
I think we were in the beginning. We definitely were. We did things to kind of almost insulate ourselves from being judged. When people would, this is early on in the relationship when we first moved in together, people would say, "Oh, so is this your bedroom?" Or, "Oh, so okay, this is George's bedroom and this is your bedroom." We say, "Yeah, sure." Stuff like that to make sure that we weren't getting necessarily a negative, feeling from folks that were around us. So yeah, we kind of insulated ourselves to an extent, but even those people who knew and said that they were cool sometimes gave us the side eye and gave us some negative reactions.
Now, let me ask you, and I can ask all of you all this, excluding myself for you all. Did you run into obstacles with your family because of your relationship? Like, did you have to deal with, and you don't have to put anyone particularly on blast because, hey, family, we got family all around.
Yes,
I know we got family watching.
yes.
Y'all got family watching. We got family. I know, I understand. But I'm curious, how do you handle that type of an ordeal when it's your family?
Well, for us, it was difficult because the majority of our family accepted us when we were in a relationship. And about 9 years in, we decided, well, first it became legal in Massachusetts for same-sex couples to get married. So we, for lack of a better term, we jumped on it. And,
right.
and we said, well, let's get married. We can now. It's legal. So
yes, your legalization was decades ago. You're fine. But,
yeah, that was
right. You all, interracial marriages were like
loving, yes, the loving case. But so when we first decided to get married, we told our family members, and there were a number of family members who all along had been supporting us and loving on us, who said that they just couldn't see us get married. I guess I shouldn't put anyone on the spot, but they were some of our parents fell into that, where they said that they loved us and supported us, but they just couldn't see us take that step in getting married. And when George and I were talking about getting married, we kind of set some time aside where we spoke to each other about what the ramifications could be. So we took time to decide to make sure that we showed the unconditional love that we were expecting from these folks who said they loved us. And that if they showed us some kind of negative response to us getting married, that we were going to make sure that we, in turn, showed them the unconditional love that we were looking for. We wanted to make sure that we didn't ruin any relationships just because we were getting married. It wasn't worth that. If these are people that we truly love and say that they love us, then why should this ruin the relationships going forward? So I think in doing so that we saved a number of relationships where folks said, I'm not coming to your wedding. I can't do that. And, initially your reaction wants to be, well, okay, and later for you. And you don't want to come, then I don't need you to come.
Deuces.
Right. But we had to step back and say, you know what? That's how you feel. It's good. I still love you, just like I would expect that you would still love me. And again, I think that really saves some relationships of people that we know and love.
When it comes to marriage, since you all have gone, through the not just dating, but the marriage piece of it too, did you have similar experiences from your family that you had to deal with when it came to marriage?
I think we dated so long that they were just like, all right.
By then it was just like, oh yeah, of course, finally, right?
It's like it was official. I think I don't want to say we did it for our son. We were ready to do it, but I think that was the main reason why we kind of decided that it's important that we
had a couple people not come.
Listen, I was out of town. I'm sorry. I was out of town. I couldn't.
You didn't go to the wedding?
I wasn't here. I was out of town.
Yeah,
I was living out of town. I was a broke server, and I was in Richmond, Virginia, and I just started serving. Maybe I don't know. Again, a lot of alcohol and other things that cloud the memory. But I remember I was out there, so I couldn't make it. But right. But there were some family members who didn't make it to the wedding. But I don't know. Was it due to the?
Yes.
Really?
From my side.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about your
too much
side.
alcohol.
I don't
in there.
remember.
I don't remember.
We don't put our family on blast when it comes to that. I'm sorry.
No, I think. I don't know. I think my family was pretty ready. I didn't sense any.
Yeah, we dated about 10 years.
So.
But you had some in some of that you dealt with in your family from your side too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So,
And that's what's so. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That's what's so surprising because we too were together 10 years before we got married. And it's just like, would you guys come to our house for dinner and we hang out at cookouts and barbecues, but you don't want to come to our wedding? And I don't know if that was your experience too. That these are people that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, we struggled a lot during the whole 10 years.
Sure. Yeah.
So I wasn't hugely surprised. Wasn't a huge,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. For us.
upsetting just the same.
Indeed. And for us, I think the most, I guess, upsetting thing was when our parents said, they weren't coming. It's like, but you hang out with us. We do things together. What do you mean you're not coming? So, yeah. But as I said, I know they've come around and they're very supportive today. And I think the stance that we decided to take saved those relationships. So,
and that's pretty awesome that you guys did that. Again, hashtag love is love. I see there's this hashtag going on. Please go ahead and comment with your love is love hashtag as well and share some of your experiences here on Facebook or give us a call. 708-223-8953 is the number to dial. Share with us, some of your situations that you had. Excuse me, when with your loved ones, your partner, your spouse, whatever it is. Excuse me. Adrian, my buddy Adrian Marquis, who's actually who's a white guy, said my first girlfriends were black, and I think he hashtagged their names or they might be because it says Kobe Washington. I don't know what that is. That might be their names. Listen, Jennifer Torres said, "I love you, Eric and George. Let me know if I need to handle someone giving you the side eye."
That's my baby sister's best friend. I've known her since she was like in elementary school, and hey Jen, she's a sweetheart.
And then we got Miss Marlena Prater, which again I can't wait. I don't know if I can call her doctor yet.
Yeah,
I want to call her doctor. As a doctor, I know we're waiting for the
confirmation. Yes.
Okay, right, exactly. So Dr. Marlena Prater said this show has me super emotional. Oh, Marlena, listen, love is love, and we want to share that. Not only just on today, but it seems fitting because it is Valentine's Day, right? So why not? But keep your comments coming. We're taking a look at them. And again, if you want to give us a call, 708-223-8953. I believe we have our other guest, Mr. George, has get himself together for the camera. But he is in the building. George, welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
You made it in safely. You guys can slide down just a little bit here. And while we got George here, go ahead and take a moment, George. Introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit about you.
Hey, I'm George Thorne. I was born in Shreveport, Louisiana. I've been here in Chicago for about 8 years and been with this guy for almost 22.
So you in Shreveport, Louisiana.
I was born in Shreveport, Louisiana.
So there might be some things that you dealt with the black community. And this kind of goes into my next question that I was going to ask all of you all. Do you think that location has there's a difference when it comes to location and what you experience in your relationship? I see some real good nods, like yes.
Yeah. Like I said, I grew up in the Northeast in the Boston, Massachusetts area. And I think had I been born and raised, I say this all the time, in a different time, in a different place, I would have had a totally different experience. So I definitely think being in such a progressive area, with Harvard down the street and MIT at the other end of the street, and all these progressive education and hospitals, and I think it just breeds a more progressive attitude towards things. Again, although we had some pushback every once in a while when we walked around, but for the most part, I think that allowed me to be who I am today and who we are today is because of where we met and our relationship and love fostered. It was in the Northeast. I just, not poo-pooing on the South, but I just couldn't see that same thing happening in the South.
Right. Well, we got some Southern representation here. So
we do. So.
We had a Virginia episode, when David was 2 years, went to go get gas. And the lady at the counter basically said, you guys need to leave now.
Wow.
You know how you walk into a place and everything stops?
Right.
The music stops? Yeah. We didn't get gas.
This is how long ago? Because your son is how old?
He's 16. So this was about 13 years ago.
Wow.
Well, it is the South, right? I mean, no shade, but it is the South.
I thought it was east, but
No. It's south of the Mason. Virginia is. Trust me, when I lived there, I noticed some things. There was some progressiveness. Is that a word? It'll be a word today. There was some progressiveness in Virginia, but by the same token, there was some. It's the South. I think Richmond is considered the Confederate capital. Shout out if I got anybody from Richmond that's tuning in. Go ahead and share some of that with me too. Don't. But George, you were saying that there were some differences down in Louisiana, Shreveport as well.
Yeah, some differences, but I guess I left there when I was pretty young. I was like 21 when I left Shreveport. And one of the reasons that I left, I just graduated from college, is so that I could sort of get away and live my life, right? Without having to worry about even what my family were going to say and think. And I think one of the issues or one of the things with same-sex couples is we sometimes can slide under the radar too. Because
what do you mean?
We don't always come out right away, right?
Right.
I kind of alluded to that. Separate bedrooms we stay in separate bedrooms.
Yeah. So it's not like everybody has to know. You let some people in, people that you feel like you can trust, and then you don't let other people in. And case in point, there's probably some people on my Facebook friends now who got the link to the live stream, and they're going, "Oh shit." Shoot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because they probably didn't know. They might not have known.
Right. Well, sorry for we didn't mean to out you on social media, but hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, Mom.
Right, and on Facebook, you and your husband.
Right.
Well, but listen, when we talk about location, in addition to that, Angela DeClama, who's tuning in with us, said, I think location is huge. Completely why I moved my family to California. And, so when we talk about areas of our country that might be in a different mindset, right? I think there's something that drives that. There's something behind that. I'm going to get to that in a second. But before I do, did you all see, you two, George and Eric, did you all find a difference from Boston to Chicago in regards to your experiences as a couple?
I don't think so. I think both cities are, large metropolises who encourage progressiveness and have a lot going on and have people from different walks of life for the most part in the city. So I think it made it a little bit easier for us to be who we are in both cities, in the Boston area and in the Chicagoland area. I don't think.
No, I agree. And I think we also learned some things. We've learned some things on the way. So we knew some things to look for when we got to Chicago, right? We started researching churches before we got here.
And neighborhoods.
We're both very much into our faith, and we wanted to make sure that we went someplace that would be affirming and not tear us down. So we started asking people questions and started looking for the right places and the right neighborhoods, as Eric said, before we even got here, just so that we could have a safe transition.
Right. And it's been 4 or 5 years, right, that you've been in Chicago so far?
4 years for me, but George was commuting for almost 4 years.
So you had a little more of an exposure too.
Yeah. Between Chicago and Boston. Yeah, it is.
I'm going to talk about distance too here in a second. Let me ask you two though, because between, I don't know if you've never lived in the city, but you've been in the city. Did you find, or do you find that there are some differences between being in, if you want to, when you're together in the city versus out in the suburbs?
I would say no.
Okay.
I mean, really, I haven't really had any. And I think because we've had so many interracial relationships throughout the course of the years, people are kind of used to it. And it's not as bad as when we first started. I don't really see it as such.
But again, like you said, it could just be just not paying attention to it.
It could be.
Could be. It's also could be that it's 20 years. You're getting a whole new generation,
True.
and they are way cooler.
Thankfully.
Yeah. So your son is 16. David is 16. Do we have a generational name for that age group yet? Has it come out yet?
I don't know, but they're
not still millennials.
No.
Okay.
I don't even think that generation has a name
It's
yet.
like Y or something.
Scared.
I don't even think it's right. For all of us. Yes, all of us that are older. Definitely a little scared and terrified. How did you find that it was difficult? I think that in the Black community and maybe also in other communities too, that when you have long distance relationships are kind of looked at with a side eye almost too. You know what I mean? Like long distance relationships in the Black community, like I don't know how you're gonna do that. Like how do you? No, you can't. I can't do that, or I wouldn't do that. You know that type of negativity.
It's like you can't trust that the person who's 1,000 miles away is going to be doing what he's supposed to or she's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
When they're right next to the person, you're like, okay, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But the distance, people don't trust the person. I think that's the main problem.
So I don't know if that may spawn off another conversation. Excuse me, in within the Black community of having a lack of trust in that type of a relationship. But let me ask you, gentlemen, how did that work out? Well, clearly it worked out. But what were some of the things that you did to ensure that it worked out?
I guess again, early on, actually not too early on. Early on, there were a lot of bumps in the road. Don't be fooled. But just before we got married, again, we had a lot of discussions before we got married, and one of them was the commitment to not just each other through this marriage, which of course we were going to make, but also a commitment to the marriage itself, and making sure that we stayed committed to making sure that we nurtured the marriage, that we took care of the marriage as we took care of each other. So I think that helped. I think we've had a lot of great examples, and maybe one same-sex couple as an example. The others are. I take my parents. They've been married 40, almost 50 years. I don't remember how many. I'm sorry if y'all are watching. But almost 50 years.
I won't tell. We'll keep it between us.
But even folks like that, like my parents and other folks that we know in our community. I just saw. One of our former deacons at our old church, Francine Boykin, and even she and her husband have been together over 50 years, and they're an example. So folks like that, it's not just the same gender loving couples that have set an example for us, but a lot of our other couples in our lives.
And to be real, it takes work. Anything takes work, right? And we had a solid, committed relationship before we had to live apart, right? We were already married when my job transferred me here to Chicago, and I ended up going back and forth to Boston. But I will say, it takes honesty. Eric said to me, "Don't have me coming to Chicago looking like a fool because you've been there acting crazy." Right, and then people looking at him like, laughing at him and stuff. He said, don't have me looking crazy.
She can't wait to look crazy.
Some of the same things that take place in any relationship. If you're dealing with something very similar, guys, and you want to chime in the conversation, we got some comments here that I'm about to read off as well. If you want to talk to any of the panel members directly, questions, comments, concerns, or experiences, give us a call. 708-223-8953 is the number to dial, or go ahead and continue to comment on Facebook here. Brandy L., my sister said, "Oh yes, I get that all the time when talking about long distance relationships." She says long distance is work, but I'm doing it. Most people are too lazy and selfish to do the work involved in maintaining a long-distance relationship. Shout out to Brandy L., who is currently engaged to her fiance who lives in Canada. Wow. And they've been making it work for about almost a year now. I think just at about a year. I think they got engaged around the same time. I think she posted it too. Sorry, sis. I think she posted it that they got engaged about a year ago today. And they've been making it work. So it does. But in the community, you do get a lot of side eyes for, that long distance. If it's not convenient, if it's not the norm, if you will, then you're subject to get those side eyes. And I don't know if that happens in several different communities and ethnicities as well. Brandy also goes on to say, "I'm sorry, thank you," says Toronto is where he is. And they've been doing it for 2 years. Get that clarified.
You better be specific, right?
Michael Turpo, Mike, what's going on? Says, "How do you work out the physical aspect of the relationship in a long distance relationship?" Wow. So I guess that would be,
when I would come home to Boston, or when Eric would come to Chicago, it was like, it was like we were dating or something again. It was like all excitement, and
It was, and I
That's
think
cute, though. I like that.
I think we made an effort to do that.
Right.
So we do our thing, working and church or whatever during the week, but the weekend we look forward to because we knew that was going to be time that we could hang out and go to the movies and all that other stuff, and just really feed back into our relationship again and make it strong so you can get through those next 4 or 5 days while we're apart and then come together again.
So you guys saw each other every weekend.
Just about.
I don't think it would have probably made it a lot worse had
True.
you not.
Yeah,
Very
right,
true.
right.
Very true.
Come on, ballers. Flat on Buddy Passes. That would be something I would be on. Yo, can you know Buddy Pass? I gotta go see Bay. So let me, out of curiosity, when you talk about something that you just brought up, do you all do as this long and this far in your relationship? Or y'all still do date night? Is that still a thing? As long as y'all been together? Because y'all been together for decades. Both of you all, both couples, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys still do date nights? Please, no, answer it once.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's really just yes or no. Like, you don't have to really elaborate unless you want to, but.
No. I mean, do we?
We tried to.
When you guys, right? You got David now.
Yeah,
the
We
kid
have
as
David.
well.
There's not a lot of fun happening.
It is really all around about him. I understand. It's all about him, especially at 16. Like, he's about ready to drive. Tell him to drive you to date night. He'll be your chauffeur.
Oh, see,
There you go. There you go. That's it. I like it.
I like that.
David, I'm sorry, but heads up. I had to go through
But
doing
then he
it.
has a car while you guys are out dating at the date night.
Oh, that sounds like a horrible idea now that I think about it.
I'm
I
sorry.
look forward to date night. I do. I mean, in the future.
Yeah.
I guess.
What about you guys? You guys
we
do
have
date night?
friends that actually have a set date night every week. I think it's Wednesday nights or something like that. But we don't have a set date night. We kind of, if something comes up like this weekend, Black Panther's coming out, so we gonna go see.
Yes.
So so
Black Panther.
that becomes a date night. We'll do dinner and movie and whatever. But we
Nice.
don't have like a set. Every Friday or every Wednesday,
Right.
we're going to get together and have a date night. So
Are you guys going opening night to see it?
we're gonna try.
Are you guys going to see it? Are you guys going to see Black Panther?
At some point.
Speaking of relationships, I didn't know that Black Panther and Storm were together.
Yes. Oh, you not a Marvel comic.
But I thought I was, but that just like was completely. I didn't know.
And they had a baby together.
What? Storm got a baby? Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll talk about that too. That might be a whole nother conversation for another show, but good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Speaking of, side note, I'm gonna sidestep for a second because I can. We're in the room. Listen, I just got hooked on Game of Thrones. I binge watched in the past 3 days.
You brought it up.
I know, and so my partner and I, we were talking about it. It's his fault, really. He's like, "You're gonna watch this. Sit down. We're gonna get past the first episode, and when we get past the first episode, you'll be great. You'll get all the rest of the show. You'll love it. You'll fall in love with it. You'll be watching it." And he was right. Like, I have legit not slept more than 4 hours because I've been up all night watching Game of Thrones and binging and catching up.
Wow.
I got in trouble.
So I was just gonna,
I got in trouble because we have these shows that we are supposed to watch together, right? And that was one that we were supposed to binge watch together. And when Eric was in Boston over the holidays, I watched one episode. I was supposedly going to watch one episode, and that led to me watching 5 episodes.
and other
Oh, so that's why you haven't made it past, because I saw your comment. You haven't made it past.
Stopped at 5.
He's talking about?
Listen,
Yeah.
this is love, because he stopped at 5. He
Yeah,
stopped at 5. Let me be
Well,
honest.
honestly, he should have stopped at 1.
No,
but we won't.
Well, you know what? Yeah, maybe you should have stopped at 1 because 1 was boring. But when you get past 1, like, he got to 2 and it was over. I'm sure it was like, okay, now I got to keep watching it. So,
But I wonder
get it.
if other couples have the same, where they make sure that they watch TV shows together. Like, we record like This Is Us and Scandal, and we make sure we watch it. I guess that's kind of
like
our
a date
date.
night.
Are y'all
I
doing
guess that's
Scandal
kind of our
night?
date.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm so far behind on Scandal.
Oh no, I'm caught up.
I'm so far
up to
behind on
date.
Scandal. I haven't seen any episode of Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder in this season.
Okay.
Like, I haven't.
Well, then I won't mention anything else.
Right?
But yeah, that kind of serves as
But
our
that's
date
date
night. So
night.
we record a lot of shows during the week and then kind of catch up on the weekend. And yeah, so that's kind of our thing. So when he watched Game of Thrones after we said we were going to watch it together, I was
There's
kind of
just
like,
there's so much going on in Game of Thrones. There's so much going on, and I'm here for all of
well,
it.
I guess I'll have to catch up on my own.
Please do. Hurry up, because I'm now on season 3.
He watched it without me.
Oh, what?
Right.
You feel my pain, right?
Yeah.
5 episodes.
Right.
He's done that to me.
See?
Yeah.
Wait, so you mean to tell me that's
the
funny?
reason why I don't on Blacklist. I'm on like season 2, and you like done.
Well,
I couldn't help myself.
funny enough, so it seems like that, there are some things that you all experience that any and every other relationship experiences as well. Hashtag love is love. So Renee Scott Blount, I hope I'm pronouncing it Blunt.
Yes.
Blunt. It is
Yes.
Blunt. Okay.
Yes.
Renee Scott Blunt. Thank you for the correction there. My husband travels back and forth from Charlotte to Maryland every other week. We have 2 children, and it's incredibly important to make family a priority, but you have to carve out time for your mate. We'll celebrate 2 years, I guess, together.
22
No,
years.
they've been together
It was
forever.
22 years.
So
22.
I know it's not 2. It's 22.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I cut off there.
Congratulations,
22.
guys.
Yeah, wow. Congratulations, definitely.
Oh, it's all over.
22. Exactly. All these 20s.
Yeah.
Did you,
Yo,
did you see,
hashtag
did
my
you
partner
see
not gonna make
Francine
that look.
Boykin's comment?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Francine.
We've been married
Oh, no, it was coming up. It was coming up.
Oh,
6 years. Can you believe it?
56 years. And you guys are right behind us. Oh, shout out to Francis Boykin and Francine. Francine Boykin. Got it. Francine Boykin.
And you should see her. She looks like she's no older than 55.
Really? We're going to tell how old you are, Francine. We're not.
She was a child bride, for sure.
Article, my husband and I do the same. We discuss our day and catch up on our shows every night. So look, love is love, right? Relationships go through everything, the same relationship obstacles, ups and downs together. It doesn't really matter, who the individuals are, as long as that love is there, that those relationships, it appears, can work. Wow, how phenomenal. Let me,
In theory.
in theory, right. In theory,
I'm just being sarcastic.
well, close enough because it works. Listen, real quick, shout out if you and your loved one are looking to take a trip somewhere coming up here soon while we are in almost the dead end of winter. God, I can't wait for winter to be over. But winter is coming. Hashtag. Yeah, right. Game of Thrones. So tonight's show is also being brought to you in part by DLP Serenity Travel. If you're looking for a getaway but can't find the time to plan a vacation, check out DLP Serenity Travel and get your vacation planning taken care of. They're planning trips, both domestic and international, and even cruises. DLP Serenity Travel can get you ready for your next getaway. Contact DLP Serenity Travel by visiting their website, www.dlpserenitytravel.com, or call directly 773-678-4161 to schedule a consultation. DLP Serenity Travel, where it's all about you. I'm actually reached out to him to get the birthday arrangements for my partner down in New Orleans. We're looking at getting some trip information and details from him. So check them out, DLP Serenity Travel. Get your travel book because we all have way too much going on, or you just hanging out with your boo or bae on Valentine's Day, whatever that means. Mine couldn't be here, but I got flowers for Valentine's Day, so I'm wearing a little rose in representation.
Right.
But I'm trying. It's still new for me. It's still new, but y'all, we're trying to get to 20 plus years. I'm sure we will.
Long
So,
way to go, buddy.
One step at a time is what I was
hey, each day and every day,
And can I just say, we read a book once. It was a book about couples that had been together for over 50 years. And one thing that every one of those couples said was basically you go through stuff in your relationship, but the only way to get to 5 is to go through 1, 2, 3, 4. The only way to get to 10 is to, so it is a process. You just got to keep going. You got to hang in there and keep going.
Yeah, what's funny is I've had people say, so how'd you get to 20 plus years? I was like, man, I don't know. I looked up and we're at this year will be 22. I was like, I sure didn't, I didn't plan. In year 1, I wasn't saying we're going to get to 25. I'm looking up and I'm just like, wow, we got 23 years. I don't know if that was the same for you guys, but just kind of, here we are.
It flew.
Right.
It flew, and we kind of went by what my grandmother always said. Don't go to bed angry. You mad at each other, but get it out your system before you lay it down because you don't want to take the energy into the next day.
That's a great thing to try. We go to bed angry.
That's why I said I'll take a sip on that. God bless you.
Wait, so it's different for you all. You can go to bed angry, wake up and deal with it at another time.
We sometimes will try to resolve it, but sometimes we can't, and we just.
And I like my sleep, so I'm going to sleep.
Can you sleep angry though? Like if you're mad?
Great
Very
lesson
well.
though. Great
Right.
lesson to learn.
But yes, it's something to aspire to.
Yeah.
So
Right.
kudos to you guys.
So funny enough, I was going to ask. Look at y'all learning from each other. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of mentioned this, but just all around for both of you all that you being in this relation and your relationships for as long as you have been. Have there been like would you say role models or couples that you've had to be an example for you, as you've continued on in your relationship? I'll start with you guys, Tim and Trish.
Parents, mom and dad.
Okay.
I want that relationship. To me, they're the quintessential version of like a couple that knows what they want and how they keep it together. And they spend a lot of time together. They eat, they share meals, and they transcend the whole.
They're so cute.
Yeah,
they really are the cutest couple.
They share all their meals.
They're the cutest couple. Shout out to June and David.
They
Actually,
share it.
Wow.
They both just downloaded iHeartRadio, and I've been able to share some of the broadcasts with them, so they're really all excited about that too. I don't know, but
Nice plug, Tim.
Way to look out for your parents, but they do have a great relationship, and they are a great example. In fact, I just found out recently that there was a very short amount of time from the moment that they met, throughout their dating period to the point where they actually ended up married, and here they are. I don't even know how many years later, that they've.
Let's see,
Tim was 11, weren't you?
12. So I'm looking at what, 36?
I don't do math well.
35 years.
Long time.
Before you even try to ask me, I don't know.
They got us by about 15.
Oh, so Eric and George, I think you all mentioned that there were relationships that you had as an example to look at and to kind of help with, kind of navigating through your relationship.
Yeah, I'll speak to my parents as well. I think they continue to be great examples. There are a number of couples that I could reference that are great examples. I mean, my parents. I don't know, like your aunt and uncle in California, Lonnie and Louise, and just these couples that just have this longevity. And there's not just one thing that gives them that longevity. So that in and of itself is inspiring, because that there's different things, different strokes for different folks. But despite that, it's still possible to make it work. I mean, even the folks that have commented, the Boykins and the Blunts and other folks that I know have been together for forever. Even Jen and my sister's best friend, Jen, she and her husband have been together since they were like in high school or junior high or something like that. So they've been together forever, although they're younger than we are. They still serve as an example because they've made it work. So yeah.
Relationships can last.
Love is love.
Love is love. Hashtag love is love.
Hashtag love is love. Yeah, and the only thing I'll add is we used to hang out with another couple, another same-sex couple who had been together, for 20-something years when we were hanging out with them. And that was, I really appreciated that. I really enjoyed that because it was like an opportunity for us to kind of learn from them and glean from their experience and what they had gone through. Interestingly, today they're not together anymore, but during our 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, we spent time with them, not necessarily to, so we could, it wasn't like we planned, we're going to get together so we can learn from you guys, but it was just nice hanging out with another couple that had been together and had some experience.
And funny enough, Francine said in regards to being together for the duration of time and getting to the years that they've been to, she says, it's the expectation of being together forever. Never think otherwise. And I want to jump back to Renee's comment when we were talking about not going to bed angry. Renee said, sometimes it has to marinate.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes it just has to
Yes, ma'am.
marinate.
Yes, ma'am. That's my buddy. Yes, ma'am.
Renee also went on to say that foundation is in friendship is key. That's a good thing. And I don't know, is that a thing that you share commonly in the relationship? Like you can be friends as well?
You have to be. I mean, I want to say that I married my best friend.
Right.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? We got it for 10 years.
Right. By now it's right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at this point, you being together as long as you all have, that person definitely becomes the one who knows you the best. right? And in fact, probably knows all of your wishes after this life is over. Oh, we won't think about that. That's morbid. We'll just take a drink of champagne for the celebration of life.
Cheers.
And love is love.
And love is love.
So listen, I want to, you know what I didn't do, and let me sidestep real quick here for a second. I didn't do this in the beginning, and we should have thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers to, speaking of love is love, thoughts and prayers to the families and friends of the victims down in the Florida shooting that took place on today. What do we say, 17?
17 was the last.
17 students.
And 14.
17 students or 17 people?
17 people. I
They
don't know
didn't
the name
verify
of
who
students
it
or
was.
faculty.
Got
or
it.
what, but
And
17
14 are
people.
injured.
Yeah.
14 injured. So, there's a lot going on in our community, in our communities across the board. Not only in relationships, but on the day that we should be celebrating what love is. We had to hear this bad news, and it's heartbreaking. But again, thoughts and prayers out to the families and friends of all of the victims who either lost their life or are injured, and dealing with that hopefully speedy recovery. We're wishing them well as well. But coming back to this, because I want to get back on a positive note about something that came across the TV earlier. I wasn't going to tell the panel that I was going to do this, but I decided at the last minute to let them in on this. George was not here though, so George doesn't know. But we're going to do a quick. How well do you know your spouse? A little newlywed game as well. Real quick before I do, our Nicole said the one thing the preacher said to us in premarital counseling was even saying the word divorce invites it in as an option, and invites it as an option. So just take it out of your vocabulary, and it takes it out of your options. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. And that's definitely something that we've tried to do in our marriage.
You're gonna hate each other.
You have to be
Right.
committed even
Yeah.
to the commitment, and so not just to each other. And sometimes in the course of your relationship, you may not feel in love, right?
Right.
You still love the person, but you may not feel you don't get the googly sensation when they walk in the room sometimes, right?
Are they gonna get some hate every now and then?
Every now and then, yeah. But
There's gonna be some side eyes amongst you.
Right. Yeah.
Some shade that takes place within the household.
But after all these years, you're gonna get the spectrum.
right.
Yeah.
But you have to be committed to being committed.
Yeah.
Well, I've said this to George. I said the only way out is through death. So either
Well, solves that problem. We know what your options are. Sleep with one eye open.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the only way out.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, have a squire taste all your food prior
That's
to
right, that's right.
just in case you mess up. No, but you know what those are the vows that you take right in marriage as well. And Renee says you have to love the most when they deserve it the least. Wow, that's pretty deep.
Wow.
All
Share
right,
that.
you're gonna try to
Wow.
appreciate
Share
that.
that, right? Exactly.
All right, Deacon Bloom.
You have to love the most when they deserve it the least. All right, so let's talk to our couples here a little bit. You guys can chime in if you want. Again, if you want to call in and talk to us, it's just about them right now. So, but 708-223-8953 is the number. I know that by heart. I don't know why I keep looking up there. All right, so first question. This is like the newlywed game, but you all have been in this for a long time, so it's funny to see if you can think all the way back to when you all first got together. First question. Who said "I love you" first?
Anyone can answer?
Yeah, anyone can answer.
He did.
Look how he slumped down and started laughing. Get cool, bro. So George said, "I love you" first.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys? Who said "I love you" first?
It was her.
Probably.
Right. years ago, so you said "I love you" first. You said "I love you" first. How long after the first "I love you" was shared was the response? I'm just curious. This is all because I want to know. Immediately for you.
Like the dam broke. Like, hey, you know what? I love you too.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, I think that's the common response. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it doesn't. Like I've been in a relationship where the "I love you" was exchanged, and I was like, thanks.
Should I take my
Appreciate it.
Eric was a little more apprehensive early on though. So even though he said "I love you" back, he was kind of dragging his feet early on. He had cold feet.
Oh. Yo, I wanted to. I can't remember if I did. I think I did the wedding picture for you guys as your headshot. The wedding picture. I just went through their wedding pictures.
One of the 5,000.
Right. They had 5,000 wedding pictures. But
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we had 50.
But and look, and it's still managed, and relationships still managed to last way past 2 decades. So next question. I think I know this actually for both of you two, but just out of curiosity, let's see. Who is the best cook?
Oh, that would be me.
Yeah.
I don't like to cook.
I don't need.
But can you cook though? But the question is, can you cook?
Be friends,
Yes.
you know?
Just because you all don't like to cook though, can you cook? Yeah, because see,
I guess if I had to, I could put something together, but I don't.
So but the cooks are you two on the end. Okay. All right, cool. My favorite one. Who usually gets their way?
Oh, that's easy.
These two in the middle here.
The two that don't like to cook normally get their way. I want to get some questions there.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. My last question to you then. In this is a kind of a lengthy one, but I want to get some timeline here in perspective. What qualifies as the first day that you started counting being together? When you say you've been together for so over how many years, what qualified that as being that first day? What made you say this is the day that we're counting as the beginning of this relationship? If you can remember back that far, because you all are in your some odd years, way above me.
Remembers everything.
It was like June
Out
5th.
there.
Okay. I get one of those things. It's like to the
Right.
It was June 5th, like 1998.
Impressive.
But what constituted that was the day?
It was a long date. I mean, we played miniature golf. We went out to a movie. We went to a dinner. It was like a crazy, it's one of those things.
That was my date.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was a day.
Yeah.
We worked together ahead of that for some time.
So was that like the day that you said, hold on before I ask, what about you guys? What was the qualifying, this is the day that we're using as the first day of our relationship?
I think we've always looked at October for that. We got married in October. We moved in together in October, and we had, I guess, our first date in October. So I guess our first date being in October was kind of when we kind of said that's when we say 22 years together, we're looking at October when we had our first date.
Okay. Your first date.
Yeah.
Oh, your first date.
Cute. And can I just add that we split up for a period of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Almost
So
a year.
we dated for a year, then moved in together, lived together for a year, and then we split up and literally split up
Right.
for about a year, and then came back together.
That happens. It happens. Well, I'm so glad that you all decided to share your Valentine's Day again with me. I appreciate it. And hashtag love is love. You got the opportunity, and I hope that this gives anyone who's watching an opportunity to understand that relationships are relationships. Love is love, and people go through the same ups and downs, ins and outs of any other relationship, regardless of its same gender, interracial. I was looking for same gender women too to share their experiences, and interfaith. Like interfaith relationships, right? That takes place too. But all of the relationships revolving or that are out there revolve around that hashtag love is love. Lastly, this want to give out real quick the last advertisement, Mind Over Matter, offering holistic health and wellness services that focus on healing the whole you, mind, body, and soul. Mom actually was recently featured in an article in Voyage Chicago, so check it out and at Rick's Room. On the Facebook page, you can check out all of their details and what they offer as well. That's Mind Over Matter. Thanks so much to my guests for hanging out again. It was a great time. I had a blast with you guys here in the room.
Right?
Special shout out to Al Young Enterprises, Mr. Al Young, for making sure that I'm looking as smooth as I can normally for the camera when he's around, and making sure that we have great topics to talk about. So reach out to Al Young Enterprises for performance and production engagements, artistic development, and personal image consulting. You can also reach out to schedule catering. He's about to launch his catering business too as well. So check him out. You can reach out at 773-220-9869 or alyoungii@me.com. That's alyoung, the Roman numeral 3 at me.com. Al Young Enterprises, whatever you do it with passion. That's it, guys. Stay tuned for my girl Dana Michelle. She's on site at the auto show, I believe. So at IntellectualRadio.com, you can check out her show, Date Night. She'll be talking about what they've just talked about doing in some facet or regard. So tune in to IntellectualRadio.com for her show at the auto show. That's Date Night. Dana Michelle or Dana Being Dana. Thanks again to my guests. Thanks to you all for watching and listening. Now get out.
You and me, somehow.
All right. Happy Valentine's Day.
Let a little cash get the best of me. No one thought success of me. Big elected was best for me. Sure about his loving and understanding as you could be.